Hi everyone, today we're going to take a look at the QuSUN LED ceiling lamp, and here it is. It's 15 watts apparently according to the box. It comes with a 2-year warranty from HandyMan. Now I bought this because I want to replace the light in my kitchen, which is always flickering and takes ages to turn on. I actually stopped using the light in the kitchen just because it would take so long to actually get started. So decided I'm going to replace it with an LED one. Now I originally intended to buy a NXLED LED ceiling lamp, just like I did for my bedroom, but when I went to HandyMan, they didn't have the bigger ones in stock, they only had the small ones. So I ended up going for QuSUN, which it's not as good a brand, but it's okay. I think it will do okay in the kitchen. So inside the box, you get the light itself with a removable cover. You can see the LED strip inside. I'm going to bring the camera closer and show you more of that in a minute. You also get an instruction manual about how to install it. It's pretty basic, just live and neutral basically. And they include screws and some of these tocks or raw plugs or whatever you call them in your country, which is nice because with the NXLED one, they don't include screws. And I was a little bit, disappointed with that. But in QuSUN, they do include the screws. So let's bring the camera closer and take a look inside this thing. So here's a close-up of the lamp. One thing I don't like is that they put their brand logo here. It's kind of annoying. Why couldn't they just keep it, a nice consistent shade without any logo? But it's not a big deal. On the back, you'll notice that there's not much to see. There's some air vents here. It's all plastic. The whole thing's plastic. Unlike the NXLED, which has a metal base, which acts as a heatsink, this one is just all plastic. So just like a normal ceiling lamp, you turn the top bit to remove it. So when you open it up, you're greeted with some information about the light. Zoom in on that. So you can see it has the model number, the voltage, which is 220 to 240, so it won't work in a 110, 120 voltage area. Rated current, rated power, power factor, etc. So it says 15 watts, just like the box says. But when you check the LED strip, let me turn this over. See if I can zoom in on this. You'll see that it reads 18 watts. And when you check the driver, which is in the middle here, you just turn this and that removes and you can see the driver board. When you see this, it's rated for 20 watts. So we've got a box that says 15 watts. We've got a label that says 15 watts. We've got an LED strip that says 18 watts. And we've got a driver board rated for 20 watts. So that's not really very consistent. So here's a close-up of the driver board for anyone that's interesting. You can see that there are a couple of MOVs there, some capacitors, resistor, the transformer of course, and the diode. Nothing much going on there. Now as for the LED strip, when you go to HandyMan, they'll tell you that this is user replaceable, and I've been told that at 2 different HandyMan stores. But the problem is you say to them, do you have replacements in stock? And they say no, but you can buy them anywhere. Well, I don't think that's true because this is a very unusual LED strip, and let me show you why. If I remove this section here, just a little bit, you can see that it's got very thick metal backing, and that's what's acting as the heatsink, since the rest of this construction is all plastic. Well, I've never seen an LED strip that has this thick metal backing on before. The next thing is you'll notice there's no resistors on here. Usually with these LED strips that you buy for, Christmas or to light up a certain area, they have resistors and they run on 12 volts. Well, since this strip is constant current driven, there's no resistors in here. So again, you couldn't just use a normal LED strip. So let's hook this thing up to the watt meter and see how much power it actually consumes. Will it be 15 watts, 18 watts, or 20 watts? Now I'm guessing it's going to be 18 watts because that's the consumption rated on the LED strip, whereas 20 watts is just the maximum that this driver can handle. So let's plug it in and find out. Wiring this thing is pretty easy. You just have your neutral and live, and for now I'm just going to put it onto a plug like this so that I can put it in my watt meter. You just squeeze down this, push in the wire, and it locks down. Very simple. There we go. So here's my watt meter. Let's plug the light in and see how much power it consumes. First of all though, I'm going to turn it over so that the light doesn't blind the camera. So you can see the light has come on and the watt meter is starting to measure power. And we're at 17 watts. So obviously it's not the 15 watt that's rated on the box or that the sticker says on here. It is 18 watts and, you know, give or take a little bit. And one thing you notice with this is that there's a whining sound. It's not very loud, but I can hear it. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it on the camera. Now I'm going to try cover the light so that we can do some measurements here without the camera being blinded. So what I want to do is measure the output voltage that's going to the LED strip around the outside. There you go. So we're measuring around 33 volts. Now, aside from the high-pitched whine that you can hear coming from the driver, there's also a lot of heat coming off this thing. If you put your hand around the edge where the LED strip goes, you can feel so much heat, so much that I wonder if it might actually warp the plastic. I assume they must have already taken into account that this plastic needs to be heat resistant, because this thing really kicks off a lot of heat. Wouldn't recommend this at all because the amount of heat it gives off. You know, we're in Manila where it's already so hot. Why would you want something that's going to warm up your room? It's like running a hairdryer or something. This thing gets very hot. And one of the things that concerns me is that this quite clearly says it's a 15 watt model and the box says 15 watts. So you might think, oh, we're getting 18 watts. That's great. And the driver can push out up to 20 watts. So it's okay. Well, that's true. The driver and the LED strip should be okay. But how about this plastic? Is this actually rated to handle, you know, the extra heat that you're going to get from 18 watts? Now, in reality, it's probably going to be fine because, you know, it's only an extra 3 watts. But this thing has been certified at 15 watts. If this really is a true CE certification, you know, international standards. The problem is that China started doing China export, Chinese export, and using a very similar logo to make people think that it's been certified. But in fact, it just means China export. So you never really know if this, you know, if this logo is genuine when it's on a generic brand product like this. You know, it's been rated or it's been certified as 15 watts and then they're going to put an 18 watt LED strip and a 20 watt driver in it. You just don't know. And although they put these air holes to let the air escape, if you look on the other side, they've got a foam all the way around the edge so that when you screw it to the ceiling, it's going to make basically an airtight you know, connection to the ceiling. So where's the air going to go? It's going to escape going up and then it's just going to get stuck between the light and the ceiling. So it's kind of pointless anyway, to be honest. There's no way for the air to escape, especially with this, you know, this seal all the way around. So I hope you enjoyed the video. As you can see, the QuSUN ceiling lamp isn't really the same quality level as the NXLED. It is a little bit cheaper at just 975 peso, but the quality is not quite the same. If you enjoyed this video, please give a thumbs up and subscribe to see similar videos in the future. And if you want to see me installing this thing, click here.